Welcome back, everybody, to the Fast and Slow podcast. This is episode number 15. I'm Nick, and here with me, as always, is Nate, ready to just sit back and escape reality that is the government shutdown. We
Uh,
spent about 10 minutes talking about it before this, and man, it's depressing, Nate. I don't want to talk about it anymore. So let's talk about
good,
cars.
it's a good thing we're in our happy places with our.
Yeah.
We're back to being kids in our toy boxes. We can
Yeah. Yeah.
enjoy ourselves.
Yeah. So I've got stuff to talk about, but what have you been up to?
Sure, I'll jump into it. So honestly, not much on the pedal car other than here. I'm gonna try and this might be a mistake.
It's what we do here.
Make
We
mistake. I'm
make
afraid of
mistakes.
moving the whole computer, but this has got a decent cord. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah.
Can you see anything? I can't
Yep.
see my thumbnail.
We 100% can see your pedal cart. The louvers looks like you got some what are the
Yeah, those little clamps.
yep.
Yeah, so I've got it's mocked up right now. I'm the short story here. So that front piece is honestly just mocked up. It's really just very very temporarily, mostly because I wanted to see it kind of all in one piece.
Yeah.
But I'm so close to welding to the point where I don't know. I posted today that it was worthy of a little practice session.
Yeah, I saw that.
Um, and I got that felt good. I haven't welded aluminum in a long time, all summer really. So I was like, I need to practice because it's not the easiest thing in the world to do the thin stuff.
Hmm.
But I went back and I have this little practice disc that I had made
Yep.
from a while ago. So I straight cut it in half and welded it back together. And I'm going through the process of that whole thing. So welding it back together, it went really well. I was actually surprised at kind of like riding a bike mentality. Like I
Hmm.
remembered some of the pitfalls and things like that I had encountered a while ago. And actually, I really, really enjoyed it. Like
Nice.
normally, sometimes it can be really frustrating. It's so thin, you can blow right through it. You got to be patient. You got to clean everything really well, and sometimes all those little things can suck the fun out of it. But it worked really well, and I was actually really happy with just how well that I was able to do with it.
Hmm. And
So the
when you blow through the weld, there's like, can you save it? Can you puddle
yeah,
a little material to try to
yeah,
hide?
the key I've learned is you've got to know when to stop picking at it
Mm.
because usually it's a surprise to me. I'll be moving along and I'll hesitate and stop in one spot for too long. Eventually you learn. You have like a mental clock, like
Hmm.
dab dab dab. You get like a rhythm going, and
Yeah.
like if that rhythm gets interrupted, I could blow through. So to like just move along. But if you punch a hole through it and it's not too bad, you should just keep going for a little bit and then let things cool off a little bit, and then you can come back with a wire wheel. You got to clean out some of the oxidation and stuff like that, and um, carefully fill it back together.
Hmm.
Which is kind of the cool thing about TIG is you have a lot of control over that and being able to fix little things like that.
Yeah. And that doesn't change any of the strength of the weld or anything like that when you're
Not no, especially not with like this. Like
sure.
it's
Yeah.
so thin. Like you're going all the way through. Like full penetration is not a problem.
Yeah.
it's the more than it's the blowing the holes through it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so at this point, it's welded back together, and then so I think I had mentioned before. It's hard to see.
No, I can see it. It's
The
good.
weld's going to be kind of ugly now because I've hammered it all out, and I had. It's worth mentioning maybe then I had mentioned, oh, when you weld it, it's going to get all
Yeah.
ripply and distorted. It didn't do too bad, but I guess I'll explain the reason that it gets ripply and distorted like that is since you're basically depositing molten metal in the joint, when it solidifies, it shrinks.
Mm.
Well, it's that shrinking action that gives you all of that distortion and
Okay.
rippling and basically buckles and warps the panel. So once you weld it, you correct that by taking a hammer and dolly and hammering the weld back out. So
Mm,
you hammer
okay.
it, beat it together, and it stretches it back out, and it undoes all of that warping and distortion.
Yeah, that's cool.
And some I haven't really done it much, but you can actually, like if you had like a large roof, a real low crown, like large roof
Hmm.
panel,
Yeah,
you had something happen to it, and you've got like a stretch in the middle, and now it's like tin canning they call it,
yeah.
where it'll like dodonk dodonk. Like
Hmm.
you can actually take a TIG torch or a friction disc, what's they call it, a shrinking disc, but we'll use
Hmm.
the TIG torch for example, and you can actually like almost tack weld on the roof to use that shrinkage to pull everything back together again
Oh,
and get rid of that tin canning in some applications.
yeah, yeah.
But that gives you an idea of just how much like shrinkage there is when you start to weld.
Hmm.
You can actually use it to your advantage and pull some tin can out of a big panel or something like that.
Yeah.
So
So just to be clear, for the family podcast, shrinkage is bad. Is that right?
only if you use it right, you
Yeah,
can use
it
it to your
doesn't matter. Yeah.
advantage.
No, that's cool.
Shrinkage usually bad if you're not
Yeah, there,
prepared.
yeah. I didn't realize you could, yeah, you could kind of fix some of the, so like this thing's got a massive kind of, the on the Camaros, it's nowhere near flat. Like it's almost, you can see it's kind of a continuous,
Yeah,
arc
yeah.
all the way around. It's not a bug, it's not a Volkswagen, but it's
It's not a
but it's
bubble.
yeah, yeah. Which I guess, yeah, it's a bug in the back there, but
Yeah,
um yeah, I could see where like if you have a ding or something, and maybe that dent stretched everything, and I don't know. So if
yeah.
let me ask you this: if I dented the top and tried to dent repair, like pulled that dent out, is there that chance that it becomes
Yeah, I mean,
flip
maybe.
it?
So, like with a dent, if yeah, I guess it'd be kind of hard to say. If somebody like took a hammer to the top of it'd probably
Hmm.
be some like localized stretching, just where the hammer struck the
Yeah,
thing. But it's possible that you would have distorted the panel overall to the point where you've gotten that. Um, and honestly, like from what little experience I have, honestly, my my experience for something like that, it would have been self-inflicted.
hmm,
The overstretching would have been an accident on my part. As I was shaping that roof, I would have overdone it, spent too much time on the English wheel or something like that,
I see.
and
Okay.
took it a little too far. And as long as you recognize that before it's too far gone, then I could maybe go back with what they call shrinking disc, which is the same effect. You're just superheating, not superheating, but heating the metal kind of in a localized way, and just
Hmm.
using that shrinkage to get you back some of that.
Got it. Okay, so this is more on the production side of it.
Yeah, and I mean
Yeah,
you're starting to
yeah.
get into like real body guys that do crash damage, which has got an art in itself about something if something gets crunched like a soda can, what of that there's going to be bits of that crunch that are shrunk and bits of that crunch that are stretched, and then identifying that all and correcting it
Hmm.
is probably takes a lot of experience, I would guess. But
Yeah, yeah, probably.
and I so like and honestly, like the things that I'm doing, relatively speaking, since it's such a small car itself, I don't have any of those big low crown areas. Everything, there's a lot of shape really
Hmm.
in it all, which is good and bad. Like it gives everything a lot of structure and it keeps that kind of behavior to a minimum.
Yeah.
Um, but it also means that I have to do a lot of stretching. Obviously, the English wheel is really only for stretching, and it's the best way I can do it. For me to shrink mechanically is very, very difficult. I have a Harbor Freight shrinker, or there's some things you can do on a stump or something like that. But
Hmm.
um, I'm basically all stretch. I've got to stretch everything,
Yeah.
which I like because it's quiet. As long as I can use the English wheel, I can be quiet and
Yeah, yeah.
enjoy it and not wake up the family and all that.
Speaking of you said you have a Harbor Freight shrinking tool.
Yeah.
What do you I mean, you're into obviously much more advanced stuff, but like, what's your experience on Harbor Freight? Like, I always think about, getting a small, like a 36-inch brake or just something that I can, make brackets with and stuff like that. Have you
Um,
used any of those tools?
yeah, I have an English Harbor Freight brake, one of the
Yeah.
little I don't even know how to describe it. I have to C clamp it down to the workbench.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of like a desktop or a worktop.
Um, yeah, and I haven't had any problems with it. I when I remember, I wipe it down in WD-40 because it's like Chinesium steel. It rusts
Sure.
instantly. But
Yeah. Yeah.
um, I honestly I bought it to repair the top of a toolbox like 10 years ago,
Hmm.
and that basically more than paid for itself. Like I used it once, and
Nice.
it paid for it, and basically probably everything I've bought from Harbor Freight since. But
Yeah. Yeah.
um, no, I've had good luck with that. I've got honestly, I don't know if I've mentioned, but my Harbor Freight strategy is always like if I need one of those niche tools that's like I don't know, maybe I need it, maybe I don't. I know there's the whole buy once, cry once thing, but I think the best example I have was the portable bandsaw.
Hmm.
When I bought that, I was like, I honestly, I need the portable bandsaw for one thing I have in mind,
Yeah.
and I'm just going to go ahead and buy the Harbor Freight. And if I use it more than I think and it breaks, then I'll invest.
Hmm.
Um, but honestly, I bought it and then I found a company called Swag Off Road. They sell these kits to turn your portable bandsaw into a tabletop bandsaw,
Mm. Yeah.
just obviously a small footprint. I was like, that's brilliant. So I bought that, and I've beat the snot out of that portable bandsaw and misused it and abused it, and
Yeah.
it's not broken yet.
Dude, I'm the same way with Harbor Freight. I don't know if you call me a true believer, but I can't think of I mean, I think there's a category of tools that like if they're in a plastic case and they're in the end cap of one of the aisles,
Yeah,
you probably can assume that you might break it.
yeah,
Um, but no, I kind of a similar thing. I was making battery cables for the Camaro. I was kind of rewiring some stuff a handful of years ago, and I bought their hydraulic crimper.
mm,
And dude, that thing is a beast.
yeah,
And if you look at, I know there's got to be a name brand hydraulic crimpers out there, and they look like the same design.
yeah.
Just
Yeah. I from what I guess the what I do and the people I'm around for a living, you can go the name brand large hydraulic crimple for doing like, especially you get into like double aught cable and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
You're talking big, big, big money for professional grade stuff.
yeah. But for a battery cable in the
Yeah,
garage, I think
yeah. Don't
the big
even.
thing
Yeah.
is, it's probably a little leaky. It's probably got a little bit of hydraulic fluid, but it
Oh, sure, but
did the job.
yeah, I don't. Especially now, like I honestly I haven't put my hands on any actual like Icon brand tools,
Hmm.
but like so I mean I work with professional mechanics, right? And at least in the shop where I am, it's a bunch of Snap-on and Milwaukee and all of those. But these guys in their home shops in their home use, they'll pick up some Icon stuff. So the short story there is that here's a reference. These guys use Snap-on, you know, 8 to 5, and then go home and use Icon or what have you or
Hmm.
Cobalt.
Yeah,
And a lot of them are like, Icon. The general consensus is Icon, is beats the snot out of like Craftsman or Cobalt because both of those I think have taken a pretty significant dip in the last 10 years as far as quality goes.
yeah. I
Um,
don't I don't have any Icon. I take that back. I've got a like a quarter-inch drive ratchet. But it's super nice. Most of my stuff's like Pittsburgh. I got
yeah,
Pittsburgh ratchets I've had for 15 years and used the hell out of it.
yeah.
Never
I'm
broken it.
I'm a little salty. I was for no particular reason. I've invested in Cobalt tools for all my hand tools, ratchets and wrenches and stuff like that. only
Yeah.
because Lowe's was always handy and it's just what I got. The last several things of Cobalt I've bought have been disappointments.
Oh man.
I've got a ratcheting wrench and an actual like socket wrench, both like skipping teeth when I go to,
Dude. And it's
and it like,
they're probably like 30, 40 bucks a piece for,
yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Sure, I take them back and I complain and I get my replacement, but it's like while I'm using it and suffering through that like skipping teeth motion,
Yeah.
I'm just mad at the world.
Yeah. If I didn't start with DeWalt as my battery, and I think we all know like once you start on a battery,
Yeah,
you just can't change. Not without a significant investment,
yeah,
or a capital, I guess.
yeah,
Uh, but I feel like if I started with Harbor Freight, I mean, I don't all their stuff is so good. I just don't know if there had been anything else, I would have used. Like that's literally the only name brand from a mechanic side of the house
yeah,
is DeWalt because it's the architecture that I picked,
yeah,
15 years ago.
yeah.
Um,
I
otherwise,
would
like,
say that was
yeah,
always an area that I was a little bit cautious of, and I never even considered Harbor Freight was battery stuff. I
yeah,
went,
I was
I
cautious
had
too.
I had a Craftsman drill, and as soon as it crapped out on me, I went all in on DeWalt. Same
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah,
And at least at the time, that was probably 5 years, 6 years ago. At the time, I was super sketched out about anything battery powered from Harbor Freight.
hmm,
But a lot changes, so I'm always going to have to
yeah,
revisit.
yeah. I mean, like their Hercules and I forget what there's Earthquake or something like that.
Oh, sure, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, and just getting back in the garage here with this brake job, I've used the hell out of all my Harbor Freight hand tools, so
yeah, yeah.
can't complain.
No, and I mean, it's kind of like it's the same conversation with welders, really. It's like I don't think anybody's gonna argue that like Miller and Lincoln, are the top. I don't think
Yeah.
anybody's gonna argue too hard about that. But the question is like now I know there are some professionals using Everlast because I think they're proven that they're high quality.
Hmm.
But the question always comes up to is like, okay, like what are you doing? If you're gonna make a living with hand tools, then yeah, Snap on,
Hmm.
you do you. Like
Yeah.
Milwaukee, yeah. I mean, like I said, like the shop that I go, that I work at, it's filled with Snap on in Milwaukee and all
Hmm.
those. It's like, but like I said, it's like you go home to those guys' houses and it's Craftsman and Icon and
Yeah.
same thing with like welders. It's like if you need a welder to feed your family, yeah, Miller, Lincoln, pick one, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you're piddling around in the garage like me, then I don't need it doesn't need to be a 30-year tool that gets used
Hmm.
8 hours a day. It just I need it to glue some things together on the nights and weekends.
Yeah. Yeah. And one day I'll get a welder. I just have no need, at the moment, but
Yeah.
it'd be hard to justify spending, thousands of dollars on a Miller if I'm just doing like, you know, I,
Yeah.
I just can't justify it. Like, I got to make some brackets or I would even say like if I'm like, for instance, that when I first learned how to weld in 2005, uh, was on the rear subframe on this car. It was just completely rotted out. And so we
Yeah.
just cut it out, notched it, and then, made our own cap, which hindsight, I don't know what the market was back then for stamped rear subframe caps, but I bet it was less than 500 bucks. I bet it
Yeah.
was less than 200 bucks. I have no idea why we didn't just like, hey, let's just buy the actual part and do this right. So I just like booger welded just, sheet metal we had in the garage, boxed it
Yeah.
in. And so you look at this thing, man, because I'm in it right now with the brake job. And I'm like, this is so embarrassing.
I want
I need to
to
cut it out and, you know,
though that I maybe we can go down this rabbit hole. I don't
yeah,
We didn't have an agenda, so why not?
sure.
the since I don't know that I've ever owned a car. I have not owned a car as long as you've owned the Camaro.
Hmm.
And since it's always been you built it with your dad, you've done everything. I want to know, you said it once that you saw something that you had done back when that made you cringe. Is that is that a frequent occurrence? How often do you see your old work and you're either yeah, I mean from one friend to another, don't be too hard on yourself because,
Yeah.
that was a long time
Yeah.
ago.
No, no, and I mean it's how I learned, that and the floor pans, like
Yeah.
we didn't do the, hey, let's spend, I just didn't have the money,
Hmm.
I wasn't gonna buy the stamped floor pans, cut out everything and then put them in. So I just cut, till there was no more rust and then shaped, did my own little shaping of
Yeah.
the contour of what the floor pan should have been.
Yeah.
And even on the passenger side, it's kind of funny because like you get in and your feet kind of like hit it, your feet don't like sit in the floor like you feel like they should. And it's
Oh, like
because,
maybe there should be a little recessed.
yeah, like it should be dipped a little bit. And I'm pretty sure it's because of that. Uh, so that honestly, the welding isn't necessarily embarrassing
Yeah.
to a point. The subframe though, that is a little bit because it's like, hey, who, Mike Finnegan would always say, like, it looks like Ray Charles, welded with his feet. Like that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like back there. And so I would just like to, fix
Yeah.
that just to make it look good. But it happens quite a bit, man. And I've redone a bunch of things that I did as a high schooler, and even I mean, even to this day, like almost every project I do is something new. And
Yeah.
the one thing I'm most embarrassed about, and whatever, I'll say it here. It's not a big deal, but I think over
This
the
is a safe
years,
space.
yeah, yeah, just for the public to hear. But
Just a
no,
public forum, that's all.
yeah, over the years, the Georgia House, I think we've talked about the carbon monoxide issue and
Hmm.
just trying to figure out where it's coming from. And I went in full like panic mode. It's probably not the right word, but I was making decisions on the car because I thought I was having an exhaust leak in the car,
Hmm.
and I'm nearly certain that it was just the design of the garage without any sort of evacuation of air, and that's what was the problem.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, when I'm thinking that, hey, maybe I have an exhaust leak somewhere and I don't know where it's coming from, what can I do to seal this car off?
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, there's the spray foam insulation,
Hmm.
the ones that kind of expands, kind
Yeah.
of there's a there's a shit ton of spray foam all up in everything,
Yeah.
it's like, you know, in here trying because if you pull back the plastic here, you can shine a light and see into the
Direct
trunk.
shot to the, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, how do I, let's just process elimination. Let's
Yeah.
get rid of everything. Um, and I have to take this thing to get this door hinge fixed.
Hmm.
It's like broke. It barely opens enough to get in. I got to take it to a body shop, and I got to eat some crow. Just be like, look, man, like how long do you have? Take a seat. I got a story to tell you. I'm not happy with
Yeah.
what I did, but I did
I,
it.
yeah. I have a story. I have a story of that similar, maybe even worse, but I'm not, it was a long time ago. So when I was in school, I had a little four-door Saab that I took to a
Hmm.
couple of track days or whatever.
Yeah.
It's 5 speed. It was a fun car, turbo. Um, but one summer I was, how'd this go? Oh, it was leaking oil around the oil pan, bad. So one summer I fixed it, and well, I resealed the oil pan. But when I took the oil pan off, there was huge chunks of like timing chain tensioner guides in the oil pan.
Ooh.
Not good, right?
Yeah.
So put it back together and dealt with it for probably longer than I should have. Like when it was cold and you'd start it, you could hear it like clink and clack,
Hmm.
and then it'd go away. Um, but anyway, so I used and abused that car throughout parts of my school, no money and stuff like that. And as it felt like one of the first things that fell apart that I had to do something but didn't have any money to do right was the exhaust. One of the exhaust hangers rusted off of it, and the flex right at the flex pipe. So then the flex pipe hung down, and I would just scrape the crap out of it on everything.
Yeah.
So I was like, I crawl under there with some like coat hangers and just fix it with coat hangers
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
um and whatever. And eventually I got to the point where it was like, all right, there's a chance I could hold on to this car for longer than I wanted to. So I'm going to take it to an actual mechanic and have him fix the timing chain, tensioner, and all that before it blows up.
Hmm.
And so paid the guy for it and did it, and go to leave. And he's like, dude, just to let you know, he's like, there's a lot wrong with that car, like a lot. He was like, I know you. He's like, I know you said you're going to try and hold on to it for just a little while longer, and that's why you did the timing chain. But he's like, I'd get rid of that, man. I'd get rid of it.
Yeah.
I was like, that was probably a
Oh,
lot of my handiwork. I'm just gonna
yeah.
leave now.
So you should have been like, I just picked it up,
Yeah, I just
jerk.
bought it. Is this not a good car?
God,
No,
man.
it was. Yeah, it was. It wasn't
Yeah.
full on junker, but it was not well taken care of by me or the previous owner.
Yeah. And I think too, at that time of probably a time of your life, you weren't outfitted in a way that, you know,
Oh, sure. Oh no,
suited.
dude. I think we mentioned it once before. This was me. I was either in a dorm or in an apartment. So if I wanted to work on it, I was going to one of those drive-through, do-it-yourself car washes in the middle of the night
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
and doing work there. Which, yeah, my whole garage I drove around with in the trunk. I had my little toolbox, and
Yeah.
just kept it in the trunk. But
Yeah.
I get, it was, I got what I paid for. The price was right, and I got exactly what I paid for.
Yeah. 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 I'd say the other thing that I will say the one thing I am embarrassed on this car is the wiring. I
Mm.
it's a I hate it because it's a product of my personality. I am so impatient that it's to be like, okay, we're gonna get the car out of commission for a period of time and just
Yeah,
wire and just do it right. There's butt connectors on this thing, nothing soldered. It's that is the thing I wish I one had more patience, two was more organized with, and three like was good at the like fancy Dorch connectors and
oh sure, yeah.
pin stuff like because
That yeah,
that looks so good, man. Like
yeah, it does.
Cletus, he just unveiled or they redid oh man, what's the El Camino mullet?
Yeah.
They just like I don't who knows how much money they put into it, but there's one episode about a week ago, and it's them just going through the wiring of the car,
Mhm.
and I'm just like, oh, I'm so jealous. It looks
Yeah.
so good. Um,
Yeah, it's its own
yeah.
art form for sure. But especially so if you've got the time to do it's like in a ground up build.
Hmm.
Like to go back and do like your Camaro, I would 100% be flipping through like the painless wiring catalog
Yeah.
or something like that. But even that is like, you're gonna redo every point to point.
Yeah, that's why I haven't done it.
Yeah,
But
that,
the other day uh I think I mentioned it on the podcast last where I came back from the car show and the battery died on the Camaro. Did I
yeah,
mention that? Yeah, yeah. So Sarah was following me on the way home and it was dark and she's like, You cannot drive that thing at night. You can't see any of the lights that are on like
oh no,
because they've got like I'm pretty sure it's the original bulbs, like
really?
or like the last time it was licensed was like 93.
Yeah,
So, you know, sometime before 93 and
93
after,
era bulbs.
yeah, or after 1979, somewhere in that region.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So, I mean, I've looked at the painless wiring stuff and it's really nice. And I'd say affordable. I mean, to do it right, $500 somewhere in there. So,
Yeah,
um,
that it's got to be. But I mean, like, what are you gutting the interior? Like how?
yeah. So I probably a little less than 500. You can do like they have like a hot rod, kind of universal kit,
Mhm.
but it isn't universal in the sense that it has a like second gen fuse box or junction box, I guess, underneath the
Yeah,
your feet. Uh, but it's like a 10, I think they have like 10, 12, like up to like 24 circuits. But I just don't want to do it, you know?
yeah.
I'd be curious what it costs to have somebody do it for you, which
That's got to me. It's got to be. I don't see how it couldn't be. The the cost of the parts and the hardware is minuscule compared to the labor involved.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. So, and I mean, what I would love to do is just clean what I have now.
Hmm.
And just if somebody looks at it, it doesn't look like total garbage and like
Yeah,
can trace wires back to,
sure.
what I'm doing. That's I think the compromise. I'd be curious if like upgrading the light, like the tail lights in the housing, it's a power issue, right? I assume it's not or not a power issue, but it's got to be like the just shitty lights,
Yeah,
maybe, and probably bad ground. Like, I could probably troubleshoot my way through some
the
things that might increase it.
yeah. I mean, yeah. There's basic procedures you can follow. Like if you've got a power draw somewhere, that should be relatively easy to tease out.
Hmm.
As far as why your lights dim, yeah, I would assume if you've personally never changed the light bulbs,
Yeah,
it might be a place to start.
probably. And I think the alternator, it's underpowered for the
Mhm.
car. Um, so I think wiring is something that I love. I love looking at wiring. I love
Yeah.
admiring the work, but it's an embarrassment on this car.
Well, let's be honest. You're probably a couple years away from gutting that thing and going full on race car anyway. So,
Yeah, maybe.
or at least some highly custom race oriented interior. Like custom door panels, back
Yeah,
seat back seat gone and replaced with nice carpeted perhaps panels, but still, you know,
yeah, I
call it
would.
carpeted aluminum or carpeted uh, plywood.
Yeah, there's a couple of shops out there that sell stamped door panels and kind
Yeah.
of the. I don't know if they make a second gen rear seat delete. Um, but yeah, I think that'd be cool. I do like. I drove it without interior for like while I was putting in the roll bar and
Hmm.
fat kind of mocking that up before paint. Dude, it is so loud. Like I thought the car's just loud on the inside by,
Yeah.
beforehand, but driving it like without carpet, you know,
Yeah.
uh, no back seat. It's amazing how much the back seat like absorbs the sound waves from because the tailpipes are right underneath.
Yeah.
And so it just reverberates through to the interior. And
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, this sucks. I do not want this level of race car and something that I
Yeah.
still drive on the road
Yeah.
occasionally.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm so interested in the Ultimate Streetcar Challenge, the Optima series,
Hmm.
and that like they look at interior to make it, trick and everything. So to your
Yeah.
point, I think having like carpeted panels and you know cleaning it up that way
Yeah.
would be cool. But
So yeah, if and when the interior naturally needs to come out of it,
yep,
you
that's a
maybe look at the wiring then.
perfect time. Yeah. Yeah, there's about 10 other big things I want to do before then. So the
Yeah.
wiring's just gonna have to deal. So
Deal with it.
but speaking of projects, I guess I give a quick update on the brakes.
Yeah. I
We're
saw your
looking
post.
good. Yeah, I'm really trying to do better at kind of documenting what I'm doing. You know,
Yeah,
I'm not the I'm certainly not the like how-to guy. Like you're not gonna go follow my page and be like, how
yeah,
did this, how did he do step 10?
yeah.
Like that's not gonna happen. But I do want to try to document, some of the stuff that I've been doing. So yeah, I mean everything came apart really easy, which it should have. I mean the rear brakes were replaced a couple years ago, and I got new axles during that time too. Uh, so the only thing that didn't come out was the backing plate for the drums where the wheel cylinder goes into or bolts to.
Oh,
That
sure. Okay.
that whole thing bolts to the axle flange.
Hmm.
Those nuts were welded to themselves, and so I just zipped them to the point of snapping, which was fine because then I just tapped them through the axle
Yeah.
flange and cleaned all that up.
You're replacing all that anyway, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's funny the directions say because actually let me grab it. Ah. The directions say use, so if you can see on the video, these
Yeah.
four bolts, that
Yeah.
goes to the axle flange. And the directions are like, use OEM bolts that you took out to put this back on, which I snapped off completely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have grade 8 bolts that I'm gonna use to put it back together. I have to press out the axle studs, so that'll happen this week. I was talking to my dad. He said you can tap them out with a hammer and not use a press. Um, they're like,
Oh, with oh, I'm sorry, your lug bolts.
yeah, the like the wheel studs that go into the axle. So,
Yeah, you could probably do it with, I don't know,
yep, 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 yep.
large
I got one
hammer.
of got one of those. My only concern is, I guess I could put it up on a vise. I don't know if I want to have the bottom of the axle be the like absorbing all that energy from the stud, like me hammering the studs
Oh,
out.
smacking it.
Yeah. I don't know if that's going to
Yeah.
do anything. If it would, I,
I don't.
you
I
don't
wouldn't
think
think
so?
so, but
Okay.
I've never done it before. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, they're just,
I'd be more worried about missing or slipping and hitting something that you didn't want to hit.
yeah, that's
Like,
fair. I'm just going to kind of creep up to it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
not go full bore. And as soon as I start to see the knurl, come
yeah,
out,
yeah, yeah,
then I know like, hey, that's the sweet spot for
yeah.
force. And
I've
then
honestly never. That's one thing. I think I have a pretty vivid memory of that, seeing that on like horsepower TV or something like that back in the day,
yeah,
where I remember being like as a kid, because you're like, oh, the lug bolts are what holds the tire on. They must be, or holds the wheel on. That must be super critical and permanent, pseudo permanent. And then it was like Stacy David or one of those guys,
yeah,
just knock them right out. It's like, nah, I didn't realize.
yeah. I mean, it's. I think once you get it started, you would think that it would just, they would just come out. Uh, but these axles are pre-drilled for the half inch, which is nice.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I'd have to take it to a machine shop and they'd bust
which
out
you
these.
need you need the half inch.
Yeah, so
So
I'm
you
pushing
need,
these out and then
oh
putting in half inch on these holes.
yeah, for no particular reason. I think I'd be tempted to. I'm not sure I'd want to hit my new axle with a hammer.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah,
I would put it down like, and hit it on the ground compared to like chucking it up in a vise.
yeah. Unless same thing. I'm total speaking from a total lack of experience here. If unless you could, put a 2x4 or something over it, so if you slipped, you wouldn't gouge up your
Yeah,
new axle. But
yeah, yeah. There's ways. The other thing too is the base has a hobby shop and they have presses,
yeah,
so I could just do it on a press. But I don't know. I'll mess around with it. I won't get too sporty because I don't. Yeah, to your point, I don't want to mess up my new axles because
yeah.
they're new.
Not that you,
Uh,
yeah. I mean, I doubt you'd hurt it, but even if I scratched it, I'd be like, well, nutcracker.
yeah, yeah. But there's a tool for pulling them back in, and it
Mm,
just goes over the stud, and it's got a bearing, and then you use your lug nut to
mm.
pull the
It just
stud back
pulls it
through.
through.
Yeah,
That makes me think you totally could hit it, knock it out with a hammer of 5 pound sledge or something.
that's what I'm thinking too. I mean, it's every time it moves, it gets easier. It's almost like exponentially easier because it's
Yeah.
decreasing in, I guess, the conical shape of the
Hmm.
knurl. So, yeah, it's kind of the like never done it before part of the project. I'll do that, and
Yeah.
then it's all just going to go back together. It seems pretty straightforward. I was reading through the instructions, and
Famous last words.
yeah,
Can
you
I
just
can I
have.
see the end of that axle just out of my own curiosity?
Yeah, do you
The
know
diff
how
side.
dirty as hell? Do you know how it works on a GM? So their C clamp or C clip, uh, like they go into the center section, and
Yeah.
then if you can see,
Yeah, I can see it better
yeah.
now.
So the clip goes in here, and then there's
Hmm.
a pin in the center section that holds the clips in. And so you remove the pin, pull the clips out, and then the axles just come out. They ride on a bearing that's in the axle housing, like the rear differential axle housing.
Yeah.
They just ride on that bearing, which you can see, the I've taped. Yeah, I guess you can see the
Sure.
where it's written on the bearing.
Yeah.
So
Which
they're, yeah.
which axles were like the I don't know if it was Ford or GM or what, but which if there are some that are like effectively banned from drag strips. They're like single point of failure
I don't know. I'm
where
not
a clip, I don't know if it was an E clip or whatever, can break and then that's the only thing holding your tire and axle on.
technically the C clips are like if that broke, the axles would come out.
You could lose your whole wheel, tire, and axle assembly.
Yeah, yeah. They sell. This is where I'm kind of in the deep end. So if anybody's listening and knows about the C clip eliminator differentials, I'm just speaking out of turn, but I do know that they sell, or that you can upgrade your like the GM 8.5 inch to the C clip eliminator style. I don't know what they do to keep the axles
Or
in.
how it works. Yeah.
Yeah, but I have to assume it's like it's for those high horsepower or high torque
Yeah.
cars, that if you break it, that's a big deal.
I guess that what like just lack of experience, but it's I'm puzzled as to what's happening in the differential that's transferring so much force to the clip itself that it would shear or fail. But
Yeah, I don't know.
it's got to be just you've twisted the axle so much that maybe it effectively shortens, if that's possible.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I really don't know. Or
I'm gonna have to
you just,
Google that.
well, you could just break the axle and then it comes out.
Oh,
Uh,
sure. Yeah. I imagine all bets are off if you break the axle, but
because I know there's certain, man, again, speaking out of turn, but I'm pretty sure Mopar style rear ends and even maybe Ford 9 inch, uh, the bearing rides like it's pressed onto the axle itself.
yeah. Or their or the axle shaft is like floating between the differential and the rear hub, I guess you call
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
But you theoretically, even if you broke an axle, the wheel's not going anywhere. It's still bolted to
yeah,
the housing. But
right.
interesting.
Yeah,
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 I'm not well versed at all in the uh, you know live rear axle,
yeah.
especially in the muscle cars and all that. But
Well, and I'm not, this just goes to show we talked about this. Like I'm going to have somebody replace the rear differential,
yeah,
even though like the axles are out, the case is off. Like I can see it; it's right there. I
yeah,
could do it, uh, but I'm not. I was talking to Tim Talbot tonight, just chatting with him, and he's like, "Dude, I listened to your podcast last week and have somebody do the job, do the the rear
yeah,
diff."
yeah.
Uh, so yeah, I'll put it back together and then take it somewhere. But it's funny,
Cool.
it's got a magnet on the rear case to collect all the,
Sure.
material and stuff. And it is like paste, like
Yeah.
gray paste that is stuck to the magnet.
I mean, that's what it's there for. I don't, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's shot. Like
And you're going to
it does.
service it anyway. So,
Well, I'm gonna replace it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so obviously the race car is going to have a solid rear axle. And I'm trying to do as much research as possible because it needs the drive shaft and all of that's going to need to be shortened.
Hmm.
And luckily, that's a pretty common thing in the hot rod world if you're building like a Model A or something like that. So there's loads of videos and people online that have done it. But uh, yeah, it's 90-year-old parts, and uh, there's no do-overs. So
Yeah.
I've been trying to like understand how all that works. Granted, it's totally different. So it's a
So you would
30s
short
Ford versus 70s Chevy, but
so you
um,
would shorten the drive shaft yourself, or would you have
I'm gonna
somebody?
try. Yeah, I mean, everything. It seems totally doable yourself. So it's
Yeah.
what's cool about the like banjo style rear ends is there's the drive shaft, but then there's a torque tube.
Hmm.
So
Oh,
there's no spinning drive shaft that you can see. It's all within the torque tube,
yeah.
and the torque tube's a structural member of the rear end.
Hmm.
And from Ford, it's all triangulated nice. It's this big. I could probably show you, but it's hard.
Yeah,
It's
it's
under
all right.
there, um, but it needs shortened. Obviously, it's not going back into a Model A. It's going into a little race car. So um, I'm gonna have to like split the wishbones, they say. So instead of it
Hmm.
being this permanent triangle the way it is now, it's all bolted or welded together.
Hmm.
Rear axle, torque tube, and then control arms.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to split it and shorten it to fit the race car.
Okay.
Which saying it all out loud feels really, really intimidating.
Yeah,
But
that's in the future, and you'll have
so this is a
plenty of time
good
to
point of
research.
like you said you're gonna have somebody do your rear differential
Hmm.
because you want to learn you want the wheel time because you want to get better at driving the car, not working on the car.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and do this myself because I want to learn how to get good at working on a 90-year-old
Yeah.
car and
Yeah.
understand all the mechanics and
And that's
inevitably
why,
spend less time driving it because the whole point of the project is I want to build a race car.
yeah.
I'm not here saying I want to get good at driving a 90-year-old race car. I want to learn how to build a 90-year-old race car.
And that's why we're going to be perfect co-owners of a race team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I would have been worried about for the shortening of the drive shaft. You're talking about the spinning part, right? That
Yeah. And that,
does it.
yeah. So the torque tube is going to need to be shortened, and so is the drive shaft in the torque tube.
Yeah. So does that have to be
Um,
balanced?
no, because it is supported in multiple locations within the torque tube,
Okay.
and the drive shaft itself, I think, is in a solid rod that's an inch, maybe.
No way.
Yeah,
Oh. Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything
which
about torque tubes, so that's
which is
interesting.
you know just a little bit of nerdum. A lot of the strength from a modern drive shaft comes from its diameter.
Hmm.
The fact that it's hollow to save weight, but then the larger diameter, gives you that resistance to the torque, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
that inches of, the diameter is directly plays into the like foot pounds. That
Hmm.
diameter is a fraction of a foot, which gives you, plays into the torque equation. Um, and then so does the wall thickness to some extent. But if you had a really thin solid shaft, the concern there is that it could twist and get, curly Q.
Hmm. Yeah.
Well, as long as you're supporting it in multiple locations and resist that curly Q motion,
Hmm.
a reasonably small diameter could hold, we're talking about 90-year-old car here, could hold,
Yeah.
you know, power. I'm not going to say a lot, but
Yeah.
as far it can handle everything that a 90-year-old car could throw at
For sure. And, I assume you're gonna have like period correct tires that will be the width
it. Yeah,
that would probably break loose before any,
Yeah,
drive
they're going to
shaft.
be, yeah, they're like, don't quote me on it. They're skinnies. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
they're going to be. I got Model A wheels and the tires. I'll probably put
Hmm.
replica dirt track tires on it,
Hmm.
but yeah, they're going to be skinny. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like a modern sprint car where you've got the like, you know,
Yeah. Super wide.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's interesting. So getting and shortening all that, yeah, it all sounds really intimidating, but I always balance it with like people were doing it in the 40s,
Yeah.
like with a lot less equipment and capability than I have.
Yeah. Think about the person that's like, man, I've never done this before. I want to figure it out. Like they're not sitting there on their phone
Yeah,
figuring
pre-internet,
it.
you
Yeah.
know,
So, I mean, it's patience and, you know,
yeah,
just,
and some help. I'm
yeah.
definitely going to be in touch with people that I have access to thanks to Instagram that
Hmm.
have done it or do it a lot, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would not shy away from it. And I think too, if it's what I did and if I really wanted to, learn how to do rear diffs because I'm going to do them a lot, I would, I would probably try to do it. But,
Yeah.
priorities are just a little different on, seat time versus actually building the
Yeah.
car.
And it took me a long time to accept that too. Like I think I was, same thing, like coming out of school or whatever and doing some track days. It was like, oh, I want to go to the track day. I want to drive and I want to drive and I want to drive. And it's like, well, but I was definitely the guy that was like, I've had like a total of like 2 hours of track time under my belt.
Hmm.
And I'm like, I need more camber. I need more caster. I need
Yeah.
more, and like doing all this research on how do I get more camber in a McPherson strut setup without
Hmm.
sacrificing uh, you know caster or toe or something like that. And I was like, okay, well, in hindsight, I'm like, all right, I definitely got a lot more satisfaction out of nerding out on all of that much as part
Hmm.
of it, and as opposed to like, oh, I've got 2 hours of time under my belt. How can I go faster around this part of the track, or how can I use less brake here, or what does
Hmm.
it mean to trail brake and all that? Those weren't the questions I was asking myself.
Yeah.
It was all mechanics and
Mechanical.
technical.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. And for this, I'm certainly settling on the front brakes because I truly want an autocross season where it's every month I go to every event. Like I want to string together, I want a car that's reliable to where like I don't worry about projects for the entire year and it just runs and get I forget how many events they do, but then there's, a handful of like national tour events within a handful of hours. Like
mhm,
that's the goal for 26. And you know, these rear brakes, a refresh in the front, and that's about it.
yeah,
So cool, man. Well, it's about 9:30, a little after 9:30 my time. So I think maybe a good time to wrap it up, unless you had anything else
yeah.
you want to chat about.
No, sounds good.
Yeah, this was fun. A little bit of technical difficulties in the middle, so if you made it to the end, bear with us. But hopefully next episode, I'll at least have shiny calipers on the rear, and we'll be able to take a look. So,
Nice.
and
Excited to see
stickers will
it.
be in. Stickers will be in soon, so we'll get those
Yeah.
out to anybody who comments on our Instagram post. All five. Yeah.
Breaking the bank
Cool.
with 5 stickers.
Yeah, buddy. All right. Well, thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. Again, this is episode 15. I think we had a really good time just chatting about stuff in the garage, break from reality. And so hopefully that's why you guys tune in. And if you see our Instagram, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and we'll talk to y'all later.
Sounds good. See you.